Hello and welcome to the Critically Clueless. I'm TheMonk, and today we are doing a review for MLB The Show 21. That is baseball for anyone that does not know or doesn't recognize it on the screen. I very much doubt that's the case, but this is what we are at. So this game has been developed by San Diego Studios. It's currently on the PlayStation, and for the first time in 15 years, for the first time in its life cycle, this game is on the Xbox. Not only is it on the Xbox, guys, but it is on Xbox day and dot release. Let me just remind you guys that this is a £70 game. That's right, this game released a couple of days ago on the PlayStation. If you're on PlayStation, I'm afraid you are going to have to buy it. You know, it's going to cost a hell of a lot of money. It is a AAA rated game, but it is on Game Pass day and dot on release, and so here I am to review it. Now, I have to stress, guys, that I do not know a hell of a lot about baseball at all. In fact, I chose most of the easy options. One of the good things about this game, however, is that when you go to pick a mode, and by the way, there are a lot of different modes. There's a journey mode, a franchise mode, you know, there's arcade modes, there's a lot of stuff you can do in this game. You can do online stuff as well. When I went into franchise mode, I got to pick the difficulty on which I wanted to play. In fact, you get to do that when you just load up the game as well. You get to pick from different difficulties, and it's very familiar to the way, if you've ever played a FIFA game. Now, me personally, I've played a lot of FIFA games. I've probably played every single FIFA game for the last 15 years easily, and it works exactly the same. So when you load up, you kind of set your difficulty and stuff like that. When you load into, for instance, franchise, you get to, again, pick what you want to do and how you want to do some stuff. There's also a tutorial mode that the game kind of suggests that you play or that you try. And guys, I do strongly recommend you do that tutorial mode, because this game, unfortunately, is rather complicated. Now, I've played a lot of sports games. Honestly, I've reviewed a lot of sports games on this channel. This is probably one of the most difficult sport games I've had to play. It's the most complicated, should I say. The game presents you with so many different options. It's kind of silly. I feel like maybe they should have decided what worked the best and just left it at that. But instead, for someone who's never played these games before, now I'm sure it's very familiar to someone who's played year after year after year, but again, you know, I'm an Xbox player, so this is the first time I've picked this up. I'm not sure I've ever played a baseball game, to be fair, but there's a lot of different options for how you want to throw the ball. I think there's like 6 different options. And depending on the other types of play within the game, whether you're the batter or the fielder or whatever, there's different options for how you want to do it. And you kind of have to go through them all one by one to decide how it is that you want to play the game. Like I said, I kind of feel like maybe the game should have had recommended settings and just left it at that. I think that would have been a lot more simpler for me personally. But like I said, guys, there's a lot. This game can be complicated, unfortunately. So it's not the most easiest to use coming in this game as someone who, you know, has never played it before. But you know what? I loaded up franchise. I loaded up the journey. The journey I was actually really impressed with. It's very familiar stuff. Same stuff was in the last Maiden game that I played and FIFA games that I've played. So that's very familiar. You get kind of options and progression and stuff like that. It's actually really detailed. It looks great. And honestly, guys, this game does look great. Cannot force it for how this game looks. I mean, I was actually a bit blown away by just how smooth this game played, how luscious it looked. You can actually create your own stadium as well, which I also thought was sick. You know, really, really cool to create your own stadium. And, you know, you're taking like classic buildings from other stadiums around the world or around America, and, you know, putting it all together and matching it and making your dream stadium. Now, obviously, that's kind of lost a little bit on me. As I said, I'm not a huge baseball fan. I don't really know what I'm doing or what I'm looking at, but I had a little bit of fun doing it. It was definitely enjoyable. But anyway, I got sidetracked. So I loaded up the franchise mode, and of course I picked probably the only team I actually know, and that's the Red Sox. They're mentioned in a lot of different movies, so, picked the Red Sox and thought I'd have a go. I found the fielding to be pretty easy, actually. Now, remember, I did actually put this on pretty easy settings. It wasn't the easiest settings. I believe there was like 6 different difficulty settings right at the beginning. I thought maybe that was a few too many, but I chose like maybe the second or third difficulty setting. The fielding itself was pretty easy. The pitching was great. Batting, however, I found quite difficult to actually score, any runs or stuff like that. But honestly, guys, I really enjoyed this game. It's a game that I'm probably going to go back to. It's the first time it's been on Xbox. It's the first baseball game I've probably played. I'm looking forward to jumping back on this and have a little go. Like I said, the graphics sound great. When you manage to actually hit that ball, and it's not terribly hard, to hit the ball, but, to make a home run. Oh, when you manage to do that for the first time, the sound of your bat hitting that baseball, it just sounds so sweet. Honestly, this is an enjoyable game for many different reasons. I think that it does the franchise mode really well as well. I really felt like I had, a good amount of control over my team and what I was doing. So yeah, I really enjoyed this game. I'm going to give this game a 7 out of 10. It is on Game Pass, as I said. It does look absolutely amazing. I didn't ever have one dashboard or one dropout or anything like that. If you've never played this game before, I strongly recommend picking it up, downloading it, and having a go. Is it worth the AAA rated money? Is it worth the 70 quid or the 50 quid? No, I wouldn't say it is. But that's just me, this is a rinse and repeat type of game. This game will be out again next year with, MLB The Show 22. This is just the latest installment. Does it do anything better than the last one? Unfortunately, I can't tell you that. But, it does do what it does really well. It's just, I don't honestly think it's going to be worth the money if I can just download it on Game Pass anyway. But for all those that don't have Game Pass, if you're into baseball, let me know your thoughts on this game. Let me know if you've played this type of game before, if you've played this franchise before, or if maybe you've already picked it up before I've even reviewed it. Let me know what you think of this game and your thoughts. Price value, is it worth the money for you? What I would say is that this game has a hell of a lot of modes to it. This isn't a game that you're going to pick up for 5 minutes and be like, okay, I've completed it, let's go away. This is a game that you could quite happily play for an entire year until the next one comes out, The Show 22, or maybe even beyond that. This has a lot of replayability, and you can definitely sink a lot of time into it. So for that, maybe it's worth the money. But honestly, I think that PlayStation have let something slip here and allowing this game to come onto Game Pass, and of course Xbox doing what it's done in putting it on Game Pass, day and day dot, no money up front type of thing. I think that maybe it's showing that there is, a changing guard possibly. Maybe Xbox are just edging out in front now. I don't know. But anyway, guys, I've been TheMonk. We've been the Critically Clueless. I'm going to end this review right here. Like I said, a 7 out of 10 from me. It's well worth trying if you haven't tried it before. And I'll catch you in the next one.